Padres pregame thoughts, Padres and the Guardians, Game 3, series finale of this series. It will be Logan Allen on the mound for the Guardians. Not the Logan Allen that you're thinking of, the former Padre prospect. He was once with the Guardians organization. He was once up at the major league level with the Cleveland Guardians, but that is not him. It is a different guy. I don't know much about him, so I'm not going to act like I do. Today on the mound for the Padres, it's Ryan Weathers. It was supposed to be Yu Darvish, or at least that's who it was scheduled to be going into this series, but the Padres, they decided to have Ryan Weathers pitch before Darvish. Darvish save him for tomorrow night against Shane McClanahan and the Tampa Bay Rays. Wow, that matchup. Hopefully that's going to turn out to live up to the hype because that seems like a good matchup on paper. Saving Darvish for a much better team, a much better offensive team, it makes sense. Ryan Weathers, he had less than 50 pitches in his last time out, so you don't need as much rest, right, the next time around. So it makes sense, lesser opponent, and they can go with a bullpen day. I mean, it lined up pretty good yesterday because last night there were only two relievers that had to be used. Steven Wilson, briefly. Don't know if they'll pitch him today. Might be available, but they probably want him to save. They probably want to save him for the Tampa Bay Rays series. But he's gone back-to-back days. But they used him briefly, and then they used Tim Hill to finish off the rest of the game. They didn't have to use Josh Hader or anyone like that because it was not a save situation. So good on the offense for not making it a save situation, and also the bullpen for, and obviously Waka as well, not allowing a couple runs there to maybe force Hader to be in the game. So he should be good to go tonight. But after Weathers, I wouldn't expect him, by the way. I wouldn't expect Weathers to go 70 or even 80 pitches. I'd expect him to go like 50 again. This is probably his last outing at the big league level with the Padres, or at least start, because next time around, Seth Lugo is going to be back from that calf issue. So that should be good for the Padres. We'll see how he is the next time around this rotation. Next time through, he'll be slotted in there. And so I don't think you're going to see like a huge increase in the pitch count for Weathers because he didn't pitch very many pitches the last time out. And they have a pretty fresh bullpen. They could go Martinez for multiple innings. They could go Cosgrove. They could go Carlton. There's Garcia. I know some fans maybe don't want to see Luis Garcia, but they probably want to get him in there at some point. I don't know if today's that day, but they probably want to get him in there before the Rays series, so I guess today would be that day. But yeah, they have pretty much everyone available, including obviously Hader. So today's a good day to go with Weathers instead of Darvish. Now, there is that thought in my mind, like they won the first two games. You have McClanahan starting tomorrow for the Rays. It's not a guarantee that you're going to win that game tomorrow, even with a better starting pitcher on the mound for you. So just go all out and win today's game. Because what could happen is Weathers stinks today. They lose today. Darvish pitches good tomorrow, but he just gets out-dueled by McClanahan or something. And the Padres lose both games when they could have at least won one of these games if Darvish pitched today against a worse offense. But I see what the Padres are doing. They're trying to take both games instead of, really go win today, if that makes sense. They think that they can have a shot to win today, and they'll have a better shot of winning tomorrow's game with Darvish on the mound. Underdog Fantasy pick for me today, I'm going to go with Fernando Tatis Jr. I'm going to go higher on, I believe it's half a single. I'm going to go higher on that. I think he can get a single tonight. I know last night, right, it was a couple doubles, it was a home run, a walk, some stolen bases. It wasn't, a bunch of singles, but I think he can manage to get a single tonight. And there's no like higher or lower on Ryan Weathers, his pitch count or strikeout total, because I don't think Underdog Fantasy is expecting Ryan Weathers to go too long either today. So that's my pick. We'll see how he does, and there's some interesting things with the lineup today. Crony, he has a day off, which I think is good. Going into this Rays series, they can have Brandon Dixon get in there today. And obviously Crony can be off the bench if they need him to. Gary gets a day off. Like, this is... I'm not expecting very many of these for Gary, the way that he's playing, because he's going to be the starting... He is the starting catcher, not going to be. He is the starting catcher. Nola, this is just one of the nights where he is behind the plate, because you can't have Gary catch every day, right? You can't burn him out. So it's just one of those nights. But also, they have Nelson Cruz back, and they don't want to not get him any at-bats because he would get like no at-bats if Gary just played every day. If he DH, that takes away his at-bats. If Gary's catching, then Carpenter's DHing probably, or someone else, and that takes away Nelly's at-bats. So they want to give him some at-bats, and Gary, I would assume that he comes off the bench in some pinch hit situation. I wouldn't be surprised if they have him sub in for Nola, replace Nola late in the game if the Padres need some runs. It would make sense. So I wouldn't freak out about this Sanchez thing. Why is Nola catching? Well, because he has to, once, twice a week, because they need to keep Sanchez healthy, obviously, because of how good he's been. He's been one of the saviors of this team so far, ever since he's come over to the Padres. So there's your pregame thoughts. Most of the regulars are in there, right? Just Crony and Sanchez are not. Post-game reaction after the game, and then I'll also do a show after the game as well, reacting to this series, and obviously stuff around San Diego sports as well. See you then.